In our house, when this whistle blew, everyone stopped what they were doing. You might want a whistle protocol in your life too. That's what we're talking about today, right here on Wealth Talks.
In sports, when the whistle blows, the game stops. And everyone waits to find out how the game is going to proceed from there, because the whistle means it's time to determine what comes next.
The whistle is only the first step in the protocol. It's the most marked point in the protocol because it just stops everything. Then something new happens.
Once we stop, we have to look, we have to listen, we have to evaluate. I'm thinking of George right now in Houston, who in 2008 lost 80% of his portfolio. And he was really down, and he blew his whistle and he said, "This is not working." You know, he had been entrusted with the family resources and he had lost 80% of everything his family had.
Ouch.
He was really, really down. And so he stopped and he looked and he found about the infinite banking concept and he listened. He listened to us for weeks, talking to him about the infinite banking concept. And then he evaluated his own situation and he says, "This is what I'm going to do." And today, all these years later, he's doing very, very well financially because he took the effort to blow his whistle, stop, look, listen, evaluate, and take action in a different direction.
People can blow their whistle in many different situations. George, he blew this whistle when he had lost 80%. Ideally, it would be nice if he could have blown it a little bit before that. He would have had some of that loss still in his pocket. Some people blow the whistle when they see themselves going deeper into debt. Some people blow the whistle when things seem to be going along pretty merrily, but they're not making progress toward a goal that they have. And all of those situations are important times to blow that whistle.
I think keeping alert to your situation, aware of what's happening, determines whether you blow the whistle early or late. And if you can blow the whistle before the penalties start racking up, then you come out ahead. So realizing that you need to be evaluating all the time. And then, the whistle is really calling, there's a foul, there's a problem. But if you can even kind of tune in to blow that whistle before there's a real problem, then you can stop some of the damage.
I'm thinking of Brad and Kay. They were busy business owners, and they had a particular season of the year that was extra busy. They're making good money. They own their own business. They have employees working for them, but they were not making progress toward the financial goals that they really wanted for their future. So they blew the whistle. And that happened during their busy season of the year, but they still took the time that they needed, even during their busy season, to make the financial plans that they needed to get on a better path.
And that's an important thing.
They did it. It was important to them. They did it during their busy season, and now they're on track. They're accumulating more toward their financial goals.
And hats off to Brad and Kay, because it's so easy to say, well, I'm busy right now,
Yes.
so I'll take care of it here. And then you get to wherever that here ended up being, and something else comes up. And so they'll put it off. And so Brad and Kay recognized, we've got to take care of this. And it probably didn't really interrupt their busy season when they actually blew the whistle and thought, okay, we're going to take care of this. It probably didn't ruin their productivity.
They still made great money for the year. They just had to make that one of their busy things during that busy season.
They just had to put it on their schedule and get it done.
I'm thinking of two of our clients named John. One's in California, the other one's in Alabama. And they blew the whistle on their life because they had bought life insurance. And it wasn't working like they had been told it would work with the infinite banking concept. And so they looked around and they found us, and then they listened to what we had to say. And they said, both of them, for the first time, I realize what I did wrong now. We're going to move forward with a participating whole life insurance policy instead of this IUL policy that we were sold that just aren't panning out.
And that's a hard thing too, because when somebody makes a decision, which they intend to be a good decision, and all of us do this from time to time, we think, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this, it's going to turn out great, and then it doesn't turn out like we planned. And it's so hard to say, whoops, I think I can do better. Because we have to admit that maybe what we did isn't going to get us where we want to be. And that's hard. But the sooner we can say, I'm cutting my losses here, then the sooner we can get the benefits of making the right decision.
Wealth isn't all just about money either. It's about doing something that you know is really helping other people in life. And I remember I blew the whistle on my life when I decided, okay, I'm going to stop being a chiropractor as my profession, and I'm going to start teaching people about the infinite banking concept. It wasn't that being a chiropractor was bad. I enjoy helping people. But I realized that blowing the whistle at that time in my life, I was going to help families generationally by helping them understand the infinite banking concept.
Not everything has to be going bad in your life to blow the whistle. That was, you had a good trajectory going, but you blew the whistle to do something different. And oftentimes people will blow the whistle on something that's going good so that they can do something better.
As of today's recording, it is 1 year since we purchased our home in Indiana. We were living in the Las Vegas Valley at the time in Henderson, Nevada. And as of 1 year ago, we packed up and started on our trek to Indiana. And that first night, we blew out a tire.
I was only the first of several tires on the trip.
We didn't know that at the time. So the next day we get up, we have more flat tires, and it just continued. We were changing. People were on the side of the road for hours waiting for a tire to arrive. Then we had pouring down rain to change tires in. It was quite a mess. And we had to blow our whistle. And when we blew our whistle, the tires didn't stop going flat. What we blew a whistle on was our plans, because we had already reserved hotels in towns where we had planned our next stop. And we realized we're not going to safely make it to that next stop. And so we had to blow the whistle on our plans. We had to blow the whistle on our attitudes, because there's nothing we can do to stop the rain coming down while we're changing tires. We had to make adjustments along the way so we could still arrive safely and happily.
Well, long before we hit the road on that trip, we had to blow the whistle on the sale of our house. I remember getting the report back from the inspectors who were certified in a different state than Nevada. So they were applying rules to our house that didn't apply to Nevada residents. And it was really frustrating to see all these things that they wanted us to change in our house to meet California codes instead of Nevada codes. And finally, we just had to blow the whistle and say, okay, we're just going to do it so the sale goes through, and quit being frustrated about it. And we had to spend a little money to do that, a little bit of time, but we wouldn't have been able to reach our goal of getting to Indiana had we not blown the whistle and said, look, this isn't really that big of a deal. Let's just get it over with.
Our client Joy emailed me from Texas this week. She had her air conditioner go out. And in Texas, this time of the year, you don't want to be without air conditioning. And Joy said, I don't know that I'll need it, but how much is available in my policy that I could use if I need to for this air conditioner? So I let her know. In the next few days, Joy also had her water softener go out and her dryer. When someone has all these kinds of repairs, oftentimes they'll need to blow their whistle and cut out some other expenses that they were planning to make. But with Joy, because she has the cash value in her whole life insurance policy, she's able to access money, take care of all those expenses, and she may not have to blow the whistle in other areas of her life because she has those cash values to give her options.
Blowing the whistle is a time to stop. Not a time to procrastinate on things that need to be done, but it's a time to stop and pause, and just maybe even in that one area of your life, so that you can get better results in other areas. An example of people who never blow the whistle as they're raising their children would be the people who go out in public and have their children run wild instead of being well-behaved and in an orderly fashion.
When we get back from this short break, we're going to talk about how your whistle protocol can help you respond better to unexpected financial circumstances in your life.
Policy design is critical to having cash value early in your policy and having it grow quickly. Regular whole life insurance starts out with little to no cash value and a relatively high death benefit. But Nelson Nash, the founder of the infinite banking concept, said, "Your need for cash during your life is greater than your need for death benefit." That's true. So if you design the policy differently with a paid-up additions rider, you can bring that cash value up sooner and cause it to grow better and reduce the death benefit a little bit. This is good because your need for cash during your life is greater than your need for death benefit. Over the years, the cash value and the death benefit are going to grow in a well-designed policy like this until your death benefit is actually higher than it would be in a regular whole life insurance towards the end of your life, which statistically is when you're most likely to need it. That is a win all the way around, and that's the way we write policies here at McPhee Insurance. If you want a well-designed policy that's designed to have cash value early and have its cash value grow quickly, there's two ways you can get it. You can get it from us here at McPhee Insurance. That's the way we write policies. Or if you have an insurance agent you know, like, and trust already, then you can use our resources that we publish on McPheeInsurance.com and on YouTube, McPhee Insurance, to learn how to read a whole life insurance illustration, how a good policy should be designed, and you can use that information along with the agent you know, like, and trust to write a policy that will work for you. And once it is all set up and ready to go and you're ready to purchase the policy, if you want to double check it, you can use our insurance review service and we'll let you know if it's a good policy or not. It's well worth the $75 to have that peace of mind. If you want good life insurance or you want your life insurance reviewed, you can contact us by phone at 702-660-7000 or by email. Our email is team@mcpheeinsurance.com.
During the break, we were talking about how it's important that you get yourself a physical whistle. Now, it might feel silly blowing that whistle at first, but that's not the point. The point is that if it's important enough to blow the whistle in your life, it doesn't matter what other people are going to think about it. It's you taking charge of your life, and if it takes a physical whistle to do that, then blow it.
Sometimes when we're going through the checkout counter and, we're bored and they've put us through that maze to get to the checkout, there's a lot of opportunities to buy things. And sometimes we have to just blow our whistle and say, no, I'm not spending money on that. In fact, we know somebody who said that was a habit that he had. And he was noticing that he wasn't able to fill up his gas tank when he would go to the gas station. He could only put in part of a tank because that's what he had money for. He also wanted to buy his wife a simple gift, maybe a nice lotion. He didn't have the money for it. And he realized, hey, I keep doing these little expenses at the checkout, and he decided to stop. He blew his whistle, and now he puts in a full tank of gas. He buys his wife that nice lotion. He bought a cabin in another state. He added nice features to his swimming pool when his grandkids came along. Blowing that whistle in little things can make a big difference.
Another chance that you can blow your whistle is if you're scrolling social media too much. Sometimes it's time to set a time limit. Blow that whistle and stop.
It's also nice if you hand yourself a baton when you would normally be scrolling. Have a book nearby that you want to read, or have a project ready for you just to pick up and continue working on. Sometimes people want to start hobbies, but they just never have the time to get them started. Plan a time where you get things to a point where you can easily pick it up and work on a little bit of it. And you'll decide, hey, I don't want to scroll. I want to spend time doing this because it's of greater value.
That's really true. Oftentimes, it's not enough just to stop something. You have to have something there ready to fill that void, or you'll go back to old habits. So having that new project, having that book ready, that baton, having something that's already started can be really important to make that transition.
And then there's times to blow the whistle when something really disastrous happened. I'm thinking of Dr. Michael in Washington State when he had just remodeled his office, spent thousands and thousands of dollars getting it updated to current technology, and the contractor had failed to put the roof on when the whole interior was finished, and a rainstorm came, and all the work that the contractor had done inside was destroyed. And Dr. Michael had to blow his whistle because there was his livelihood, and he had to come up with some alternatives so that he could continue to make a living while his office was repaired, why he had to fight the county inspectors, why he had to fight the contractor, why he had to do all these legal battles to get his office back into order.
Sometimes when people contact us, they're wanting to blow the whistle on their finances. And we tell them, you need to start saving 10% of what you make. And for some people, that's a challenge to do. So they blow their whistle and they try it. Sometimes people just save it in their dresser drawer. But I remember one of the people we spoke to, Dr. Aubrey, I was talking to him afterwards and I said, hey, Dr. Aubrey, have you been saving your 10%? He said, yeah, only I can't remember where I put it. And he did that, Tom. He chuckled. He chuckled and he said, I think I have it in a Kleenex box. Can you imagine going over to someone's house to take out a tissue, pulling out $100 bill? That's nothing to sneeze about. But my thought was, if he had been consistently saving the money, systematically, he would have known where that money was. So I think he was playing a little bit of a game with himself, not really saving that money. So was it any wonder that Dr. Aubrey didn't move forward into a better financial plan? Nope, he never contacted us again. Either that Kleenex box is working or it isn't, but I think it's not.
There was this lady that came to a garage sale and she bought a bunch of things, filled up her arms with stuff. She didn't want her change of $3. She said, what is there here that I could buy for $3? She wanted to spend it all. And she ended up, I think, with her partial roll of duct tape and went away happy, I assume.
Then there's Steve, who was unhappy about how interest rates just went sky high this year. And he called us and he said, I'm blowing my whistle. We're wanting to change what we're doing. And he used his policy's collateral and he changed who he owed money to. Instead of paying the banks now, he's paying his policies back so he can use that money again.
And Steve's not the only one that has done that. They had a HELOC, but the HELOC interest rates were going up, so they just repositioned themselves because they could. Because a long time ago, they blew their whistle, they bought policies. Now, those policies allow them to blow the whistle and make different decisions in their lives.
So, Michelle, as you were talking, I was thinking about Tony. Can you give us his story?
Yeah, Tony and his wife were both working, but then they had a child born. And because they have whole life insurance and a cash cushion in their whole life insurance, it gives them the liberty to do what they want to do. His wife is now staying home with the baby. They were able to blow the whistle on their finances and make a change from something that was good to something that is better.
Blowing the whistle in your life is the first and most monumental step in making an effective change in your life. But it's what you do after the sound of the whistle has faded that is going to determine what happens next in your life.
We hope you can see why you should have a whistle protocol in your life. We want you to succeed in the best way possible.
Thank you for listening to the Wealth Talks podcast. We're approaching 500 episodes of the podcast, and we want to ask you to do us a favor. If you haven't already, would you please leave a review for the podcast before we reach 500 episodes? The 500th episode is a major milestone, and we would love to have you be a part of it. We appreciate your reviews. They mean a lot to us and to the Wealth Talks podcast. Thank you.